Hello, PFL. It is Thursday night. It's your boy, John Smith, in the booth, and we got a killer for y'all tonight. We got number one ranked in the nation, Alabama, going up against number seven ranked Ole Miss. Bama's coming into this one after that huge, very close 20-19 victory against Notre Dame last week. And Ole Miss is coming into this one after a very close, yet again, loss against Georgia, 16-19. No, Ole Miss had their kicker doing every single chore in the locker room after that game, after he missed two critical kicks. I know they were mad about that one, so they're looking to bounce back here. As I talked about with both these teams last week, we know Bama has an absolutely elite offense, and we know Ole Miss has an absolutely elite defense. So I know this is going to be the battle of that Bama offense versus Ole Miss defense, and I can't wait to see how that side shapes up. But of course, to start off, we're going to see Bama's offense come out on the first drive of this game. We're going to see how KC responds. You know, a couple weeks ago he was benched, and last week he came close but wasn't quite there. We're going to see how he responds tonight as he tries to lead Ole Miss to a victory against a very, very tough Alabama team. You got to be careful looking out for Andre Roche, Wiggins, and Johnson, and Anderson up there in that secondary. That Bama secondary is super scary, so Casey's going to have to watch himself on those passes. We see him take the snap under center. First play is a handoff to Deuce Willis. Deuce is going to fight for, a little 4-yard gain. That's a good start for him. We see his stats from last week. Deuce played really well. He had himself quite a good game. Ole Miss honestly was able to do well on offense and on defense, but Georgia was just able to go crazy in that second half to pull out the win. It was absolutely fantastic to watch. So as we see KC send a man in motion, take the snap here, fake the handoff, pressure coming, gets it out, goes for his man, had the step, but just a little bit of an overthrow. That might have been the pressure getting to him. He heard the footsteps coming on that weak side. Scared about getting absolutely laid out, so he airs it out a little too far there. And we're going to see him take the snap here on an important third down. Goes up and makes the catch. Absolute monster pull down by Mr. Matt Webb. Makes the jump to keep this drive alive. That is perfect for Ole Miss. That's what they want to see in the beginning. Good coverage. Honestly, the man was right there. Matt Webb just said, let me get up and grab that young fella. What a snatch. And Ole Miss is going to keep the ball moving here instead of going 3 and out on that first drive, which is absolutely massive. And my producer Zeke just fixing things up for me. Thank you very much, sir. As we see Ole Miss line up in the shotgun once again. KC trying to get a jump, doesn't happen. Hands it off. Absolutely smothered there. Deuce tried to juke, but had nowhere to go, as Bama's run defense was absolutely critical and getting back there and getting the tackle for loss. And now they've got a second and behind the sticks, so Ole Miss is going to have to do a little bit of extra work here to make sure they're continuing to keep that ball moving. Absolutely great defense there out of Alabama. And they know they have to get in that backfield if they want to be a difference maker, if they want to make sure that they're getting their offense back onto the field. They know they got to get into that backfield. We saw some pressure on that first sequence, and we saw a tackle for loss right there. So I'm expecting to see a pass here. We do. He's looking for his man. Almost intercepted. That was a straight dot to the up as the ball was in 42's hands, but he couldn't quite hang on to it. KC's got to be a little bit more careful with those types of throws, and now they're in a 3rd and 13. This is a very difficult conversion situation. Let's see what Ole Miss pulls out here. Pressure coming. KC gets it out, but that's going to be overthrown and out of bounds, and that's going to be a punt for Ole Miss on their first drive, because they're going to be punting it away, and we're going to get our first look at this Alabama offense after this punt return. We see him taking it about the 12 and immediately get hit. Looks like he's going to roll his way to the 16. And here we go, folks. We're about to see the elite number one ranked in the nation offense led out by Carson Young. They got K-Grad, K5 in the backfield. The other Andre Roche brother, they got Swift Carson. I expect to see that Carson-to-Carson connection a lot more tonight. That is an absolutely stacked offense. Weapons all over the place. And I expect to see them come out in full force. We see that handoff to K5. Just goes right up the middle, gets himself a couple yards, turning it into 2nd and 8. See his stats from last week, honestly. Notre Dame did a fantastic job at holding K5 from going crazy. I brought it up when I was up in the booth in that game talking about Notre Dame's defense. They did exactly what they needed to do against that run game, but just weren't quite able to pull it off after Carson had himself a hell of a final drive. We see the handoff to K5 spinning off guys, breaking people down. Huge run. A 10-yard carry on his second rush. That's exactly what K5 is going to try to do. And, you know, on the other side of the ball, Ole Miss has an absolutely stacked defense. I mean, they are elite. They have the Armani brothers at corner and safety. They got Webb at corner. They got Marquise Washington Jr. middle linebacker. They got Mamadou at safety out there with Gucci and the safety as the two safeties. I mean, they're stacked in the secondary. They have an extremely strong linebacker core, and I expect to see them, you know, put up a good fight against this #1 ranked Alabama offense. And I'm just excited to watch this battle, man. You see the fake handoff pressure coming, gets the ball out, catch is made still on a wobbly throw by Andre Roche. What a grab cutting back and getting to the ball. What a throw by Carson, managing to get that out as he was hit on that weak side. You see the quick throw on the slant route. And that is Dylan Romo on the catch. They're keeping the ball moving quick. We got 8 minutes left in this first, 2nd and 1. Shotgun again. We're going to see Carson take the snap. Goes for the quick curl, but just threw on the wrong side of his man there. Tried to get the ball moving out really fast, and now we're going to see a 3rd and 1, and I would expect to see a handoff to K5 to let him push for that first down here. But yeah, man, I'm super excited about this one. Thank you all for tuning in on this lovely Thursday night. We do see the handoff, and I do believe they're going to give him that first down. If you are new to the PFL, make sure you're checking out that description, getting signed up, and joining the league. The PFL is a simulation football league where you can live out your dreams on the collegiate football field and eventually make your way to the pros. It is ran by a wonderful group of people, including our commissioner/producer Zeke, who's, you know, behind me in the booth here. A bunch of great coaches, bunch of great players in this league. Absolute wonderful time. So make sure if you are new, you are checking this out, again, hit that link in the description. Thank you for joining. Make sure you are liking this video and subscribing to the YouTube. Thank you, everybody, so much. As we see Carson take the snap here. Goes for the deep ball, but overthrows it. There is no way Romo's going to be able to get out there when that ball is thrown that far in front of him. And now we see an empty set, 3 to the top, 2 to the bottom. Carson Goins has the curl route, fighting for yards. Almost gets the first. I don't think they're going to give it to him, but it is 3rd and inches as Allen makes the reception for, as you can see, 10 yards. The ball's right on the line, and I think we're going to see a little handoff here. Yes, we are. Gets the few that he needs to get that first down, and that is perfect for Alabama as they're going to keep that ball moving. We see Coach Willis out there rooting his guys on, saying, listen, this is what everybody came to see. We are the #1 ranked team for a reason, and we're going to keep trying to get those first downs, keep trying to keep the ball out of Ole Miss's hands. As we know, as we talked about, that Ole Miss offense is really strong, and this game is truly going to come down to this Alabama offense against this absolutely stacked and elite Ole Miss defense. You see the handoff to K5, huge hole there, about a 7-yard gain. Ole Miss is going to have to start putting people closer up in the box if they want to get a grip on these run plays. And Bama's going to try to take advantage of that to use these run plays to set the pass up. You see that fake on the bootleg? Looks like it's pretty good coverage. Tons of Ole Miss jerseys there. Not really a way for him to fit that ball in. And to me, that looked like a strategic throw the ball away, because that would have been a hospital pass if he laid that up to his receiver. You see K5 fight for the first. I don't believe he's going to get it. No, he is not. Absolutely stuffed there. That is a great stop by Ole Miss. And again, it is that defense, man. That defense is no joke, as Gucci ran in there, absolutely threw that man down before he could even get to the first. What a tackle. And got that 5 versus 5 battle. And Gucci wins it that time around. And we do see Bama staying aggressive early. They are going to go for it. I think we're going to see K5 here again. No, we see a fake. We see another bootleg. Kick coming. As he throws, still manages to make the catch, but we see the penalty flag. Let's see what we have here. We got pass interference. Oh my goodness, that is a first down no matter what. What a play. Even without the penalty, What an elite play out of Alabama, showcasing why they are the #1 team in the nation. We see another bootleg here. He's rolling out all day to throw. Pressure finally coming. Looks for his man. So many blue jerseys. Where is he going to throw that to? Oh my goodness, it looks like just an absolute ocean out there. Without, one white boat out there, one white jersey to save their life. So we'll see how this goes on second down. So we see the handoff to K5. It's good to get the running game back in. Absolutely fantastic cut to go from no gain to getting a few yards. And Ole Miss is going to try to hold them here, holding to a field goal. See, he's got some time pressure coming on that weak side. Pressure coming from everywhere. Has no choice but to overthrow it. Absolutely killer from that defensive line, getting to the quarterback just in time to put him on some pressure, freak him out, and make him overthrow that ball, as it looks like Alabama will have no choice but to settle for 3. And just look at this absolute swarm of blue jerseys from that defensive side of Ole Miss. And man, I'm getting excited already in this first quarter. We see the field goal go in, and Bama is the first to get on the board. They took a ton of time off the clock there, almost a full 5 minutes, as Ole Miss and KC is going to come out again and try to respond on offense. We see Coach Jewell giving KC some advice, letting him know what he needs to see out of him on this drive. I expect to see a lot of deuce involved, but, I expect KC to also, of course, keep the ball moving in the air. We see the first play is a handoff. Deuce tries to get to the right to gain some extra yards. That was an immediate stop by Bama there. Only a couple yards to gain. We see KC's going to go on the pass here. Ooh, very small window and almost intercepted. We know KC can make these throws. He just has to calm down a little bit to give himself a chance to actually get out there and laser in these passes. The pressure's coming. Casey's going to roll out, look for his man. Did he catch that? Yes, they are going to give it to him. What a grab by Diaz. Absolute toe drag to get the first down. I'm curious if they are going to challenge this. Let's see. Ooh, give me a better view there. No, he caught that. That is in. What a dot and what a catch. This Ole Miss offense also has weapons all over the place. I've talked about KC and Deuce, but Jamie Tyler, Nick Riggs, we obviously saw Matt Webb. Those are all great weapons for KC to have. So whether he's handing the ball off to Deuce or letting one of those guys make a play on offense, he is going to be ecstatic here. Oh, and he throws the pick. Absolute nightmare, and the tackle's missed. This is going to be a pick 6 from Alabama. Oh my goodness. The exact opposite of what KC was looking for, as he threw a laser on that first pass and then throws an actual complete whiff to Alabama there. What a defensive play. Gets off his man, Gardner, and then jumps into the air, rips the ball down, and is running it back for that touchdown. Huge tutty out of Alabama. And that is a big momentum shift, as Ole Miss now has quite the hill they have to climb if they want to get back into this one. Oh my goodness. From Ole Miss. That is exactly what you don't want to see. An absolutely perfect defense from Alabama. We're going to see Ole Miss take it out of the end zone this time and get to about the 21-yard line. We're going to see KC get another chance here. I know Coach Jewell is all about camaraderie there in that locker room, and I'm sure he told them, shake it off, young fella, and let me see you get it done on this drive. We see his stats are not looking the best to start this off. He's really not getting into a groove here, so I'm almost thinking if you're Coach Jewell, you're saying, let's run it a bit more, get Deuce a bit more involved, and try to open up the pass that way. As we see the option play here, had some room outside, but ended up trying to cut it back towards the inside and was only able to get 1 yard, as we saw some great defense from Alabama setting up the 2nd and 9. He's got some time, has a man over the middle, good pass, absolutely delivered. He's got to be happy with those easier passes as he gets it out to Riggs. Wide open with plenty of room there. Sends a man in motion. We see the handoff to Deuce, and there you go. Easy run, easy first down. Ole Miss just has to calm down because they know they cannot keep making mistakes like they did in the last drive against a team like this. Alabama is way too talented, way too good on both sides of the ball to have those turnovers, especially when those turnovers result in immediate points. There's no sense in making the game even harder for yourself when you're playing against the #1 team in the nation. So doing plays like this, these calm, running pass, run pass to keep the defense on their toes is exactly what Ole Miss is going to be needing to do in order to get back into this ball game. So we see the handoff again. Deuce right up the middle. Felt like he had some space on the right side, but ended up going with the run. And that's going to be the end of the first quarter. Let me see those twos in chat. Let me know what you're thinking about this game, as it is currently 10-0 with Alabama up front. That was a great first quarter for them. That defensive pick six being absolutely massive. And now we really have to see how Ole Miss is going to respond as this drive continues. Going to take the snap here in the shotgun formation. Pressure coming, trying to get away. Off his back foot. Finds a man somehow. As that, even though that wasn't very much on the yardage, that was a long aired out ball because those are complete opposite sides of the field and off his back foot. That was a good throw by KC, but what excellent defense by Bama, putting him in a spot where he has no shot to throw the ball deep. Has a man underneath, but it is dropped. What a hit to force the drop. That, I believe, was Gardner again. Yes, it was. He has been all over it tonight defensively for the Crimson Tide, as he's going to force a punt here to start this second quarter. I gotta say, man, I am very impressed right now with Alabama's defense. I really thought it was going to be the Bama offense that was going to be the difference maker. And so far, through this first quarter, it has 100% been the Bama defense that's setting this team apart right now and making that statement as the #1 team in the nation. And, Ole Miss is no slouch, and I know their defense can get points. I know their defense can make those impactful plays and switch the momentum of this game right around. So I really feel like what we have to continue to watch for is to see this man, K5, how he's going to handle it, as he's had some great runs already, and Carson Young, and see how his connection with his receivers are going to go throughout the rest of this game. Because Ole Miss has to respond on the defensive side of the ball and try to get some confidence back in KC by getting stops on the defensive side. As we see the rollout here on the play action, going deep, absolutely airing it out, wide open. What is happening as there is a blown coverage? Oh my goodness, absolute laser down the field. As Bama is going to take, assuming the extra point goes in, a 17-0 lead. Absolute crusher out of Alabama. Look at this. Look at this bomb of a throw. Carson just steps into it. Absolutely gorgeous pocket all day to throw the ball. Oh my God, if you're an Alabama fan, you could not be asking for anything else. And if you're an Ole Miss fan, you're thinking, where were my two elite safeties out there on that play? We know they're the guys that are supposed to be covering those deep balls. And Mamadou and Gucci are absolute monsters back there. So that has to be what you're asking. Where were those two guys? How did we have a coverage miss that badly on their first play? And as you can see there, they already have 124 passing yards in this game. Absolutely crazy.
Okay. So, hopefully now, guys, better. It looks like we're picking up the wrong microphone and blue, so hopefully I've got some better audio quality. Anyway, we see Ole Miss get the ball back, and it looks like they are throwing outside. Don't have a target there. And they're going to have to respond here, as Alabama is just doing everything they want in this first half. We see some pressure, finds his man in that small window. That was a laser to, Jamie Tyler right there. And that's what we're going to need to see out of KC. No rhyme intended, but that's exactly what they have to be looking for. if they're going to be successful moving this ball and get back into this game here. We see pressure coming. The hit is in. He's not able to get rid of the ball, and that is a huge sack there out of Alabama, keeping the pressure on Ole Miss. They are not taking their foot off the gas. Absolute crunch time for this Bama defense. They are not playing around at all. Absolutely feasting right now on the defensive side of the ball, and Ole Miss just cannot get anything going right now. Gonna see KC take this snap, 2nd and long. Looking, pressure coming, has to settle for the little curl to get some yards back, make it a more, 3rd and at least manageable. But again, they're in a clear passing situation, so Bama can play a little bit more soft in coverage. Let's see what happens here. Pressure's coming. He does settle for the dump off. Can he fight for the first down? Looks like maybe he rolled into it. Are they going to give it to him? No, they are not. They are going to spot him on the 4th and 1. And there's that man again. Gardner making the stop. He has been all over the field. He's got a couple of tackles. He has that pick 6. And in this field position, I don't think Ole Miss can take the risk and go for it. But part of me wants them to, because 17-0, giving the ball back to Alabama, is a risky spot. If you're Ole Miss, you're thinking to yourself, we have to see this defense step up, because if Alabama scores again on this drive, things are going to get really messy really fast. As Bama is really looking to just make an absolute statement against the 7th-ranked team. And remember, this Ole Miss team last week barely lost to Georgia. They missed a couple of crucial field goals, and Georgia had an amazing end-of-game drive to seal it up. So I came into this game expecting it to be a lot closer than this with the level of defensive play we've seen out of Ole Miss. And Carson Young and this Alabama offense said, no, sir. As we see the pressure finally coming, got to get rid of the ball a bit earlier. He had a lot of time to throw, and by the time the pressure finally got there, he was 13 yards further in the back. That is exactly what Ole Miss is looking for, as they get the sack. Lunch Hill is back there, shoves Carson to the ground, says, listen, this game hasn't been perfect for us defensively, but I'm going to try to get it back. What a sack, and maybe we're going to start to hear a little bit of momentum shift as this crowd starts getting involved. Lots of time again, pressure finally coming, has to settle, just like Ole Miss did on their drive for the little dump off to get some yards back. And we're still in a 3rd and 15 situation, folks. This is not an easy conversion for Bama. They're going to have to get guys up to those sticks and into the against that elite secondary from Ole Miss, who, minus that one blown play, has been fantastic. As the Armani brothers, Webb and Mamadou, are going to have to be in some serious coverage right here. Pressure coming, has to settle for the outside. Nowhere to go. Does get to his man, but just doesn't have the space to get it done. And Bama's going to have no choice but to punt, which is perfect for Ole Miss. Exactly what they're looking for is they force the punt. They finally get a positive sequence on defense, and we're going to go ahead and see the Ole Miss offense get the ball back here after this punt. They have to be ecstatic about that one. And here we go, they're getting the ball back here on the punt return. And I expect to see big things out of KC and Deuce on this drive. Again, with this type of deficit, they really have to have a drive that's going to be a difference maker. We saw that huge sack out of the defense saying, hey, KC, you've got 6.5 minutes left in this half. Let's get some points on the board, as we see a massive audible here. I don't know if I've even seen this yet in my time calling here in the PFL. KC did not like that look. Goes into the inside zone, hands the ball off, and hey, that turned into a good chunk of yards, so the audible was clearly the right decision as we get into 2nd and positive territory. We have 6 minutes left in this 2nd quarter. You're in the chat, you're vibing with me. Let me know your thoughts on how this game is going. Are you surprised? Is this what you thought you might see? As we see a great pass out there by KC. Seems like he's finally getting into a little bit of a groove, keeping that ball moving. See the fake here. Got some time, settles for the dump off to Deuce. Deuce goes ahead and rolls for about 4. And Ole Miss is going to take those because they're going to keep the ball moving, and hopefully they can chunk down a ton of this clock, get a score, and be right back into this game. That's basically their ideal situation. You see KC getting ready to take the snap again. We are under 5 minutes here in the first half. Sends his man in motion. That's Riggs out there in motion. Does the handoff. There is a hole there. Deuce fights his way through it and gets it into a 3rd and 2 situation. And Ole Miss really needs to convert here. If they punt, they give Alabama a great chance to get back and get even more points on the board. And if you're Bama, you're thinking stop, stop, stop. Let's see what happens. We see the handoff. And do they get it? The second tackle? Yes! It looked like he might be able to break off there. But the second tackle came in from Zion Anderson Jr. and shut that down. Said, we are getting the ball back to the offense. Great tackle, Mr. Anderson, as you saw your teammate needed help and you got in there and delivered the big hit as the secondary smackdown to get the ball back to your offense. That's perfect execution on that tackle. And now we're going to see Bama get the ball back with about 3.5 in the half, giving them a chance to get some more points on the board. We're going to see a touchback here. I don't know. I think Bama's got plenty of time as we see the highlight on K-Grad yet once again. You know, we got the K5 out here, an absolute monster in the backfield, the top 5 running back in the PFL. And I think Bama's got a lot of time to try to get even more points on the board and make this go absolutely crazy as we see a deflection. I don't know if he threw that off his own guy or if we saw some hands get in the air. I couldn't quite see that. But we'll see how Bama comes out here on second down. This looks like a run formation to me, and Ole Miss is making some adjustments in their secondary, bringing those guys down closer to the box. We see the fake, the rollout here on the bootleg has a man. I don't know if they gave that to him. They did. We see 3rd and 4. It's hard to tell on those near side angles from the booth, folks. We can't really see the pass that well. But we do see a 3rd and manageable. Bama trying to get the conversion, but almost throws a pick. That is the Ole Miss defense we're used to seeing, as that was Bryson Armani, the cornerback, not to be confused with Gucci, the safety. Huge stop as he almost makes the grab, and guess what, folks? Just like that, we are back to Ole Miss having the ball with, 3 1/4 on the clock, time to try to get down the field and get some points on the board and be in that ideal situation that I was talking about where they can start climbing back into this game. But we saw some excellent defense out of Alabama on that last series. Andre Roche, Wiggins, and, Johnson. We saw a lot of really good stuff, but most importantly, that Anderson Jr. tackle to go ahead and get the ball back and force that punt on the last sequence for Ole Miss. Let's see what happens here. We see a quick pass to Deuce. Those little dump offs have been there tonight for KC, and I feel like as long as he keeps utilizing them, Ole Miss is going to have a great opportunity at getting back into this game. So we'll see how they continue to draw plays for the rest of this half as we get under 3 minutes, about 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go here. We see the handoff to Deuce. Fight for a couple of yards, get the first, get a new set of downs, but that clock's going to keep moving, so they got to be smart with this. We are approaching the 2 minutes, and we see another handoff as it looks like they are just focusing on running down that clock and ensuring that Alabama does not get another chance to get the ball and score on them before the half is over. We see KC here, like I said, just running that down, trying to give them as little time as possible so they can get the ball back. Looks for his man, almost has it, but looks like that gets absolutely smacked out by, who's that man, but Anderson Jr. once again. What a hit to knock that ball out, absolutely smacked. Oh, KC, that was a risky throw. The receiver looks like wasn't on the same page as he was coming back on the curl, but you were still looking for that go route. And Ole Miss has to settle for a punt after all that movement with still over 60 seconds on the clock and all 3 timeouts for Bama. This is not a gimme by any means. or Ole Miss. They cannot think by, hey, well, we only gave them a minute left, so maybe we're going to be good and they're not going to score at all. You can't really have that approach. You got to rely on this elite defense that you have. I keep bringing it up, but this is the matchup, folks. This is what we love to see. This is one of the best defenses in the PFL and the #1 ranked team, and Alabama is really swinging it around and showing everybody why they're the #1 ranked team tonight. Got the pass. He goes for the possession catch there as he rolls down just to make sure nothing bad happens. Is out to K5. K5 is not a receiving back, so I wouldn't expect anything too crazy out of him. He'll just take the yards. We see Bama is running down that clock. We see some pressure coming and forcing that pass. Great pressure out of Ole Miss. I expect to just see a handoff here and then a rundown as both teams seem to be satisfied going into half up. Score is 7-0. Oh, never mind. I lied. Coach Jewell said let's try to get this ball back and see if we can get some kind of points on the board with 29 seconds remaining. You assume after this punt they're probably going to have 20 seconds. So let's see what happens. Oh, look at that. 21 seconds left. Let's see if Ole Miss can get down the field and put some points on the board. Can KC lay out some absolute lasers? We see the highlight on Deuce Willis talking about his season so far. Deuce has been a shining light on this Ole Miss offense. He is an absolute monster in that backfield. We have two elite running backs tonight, and it's exciting to see them putting on a show. Oh my goodness, almost throws an interception to Andre Roche there. Too close for comfort, and that would have put Bama almost in scoring range themselves. We see pressure coming, has a man wide open, lots of room to run there, and manages to get some extra yards. That's Matt Webb once again, their big tight end, Mr. Reliable for Ole Miss. And they have one timeout in 11 seconds. Definitely time to get the ball into field goal range. Let's see what they cook up here. He's got the outside man, goes deep though, and is intercepted once more. I disagree with that throw on so many reasons as Johnson rips it down. His third pick of the season. Jay Johnson, an absolute beast. But he had the outside route, KC. You got to look to your left, not just at the one main read. Take the few yards that you could get, let him fight for some more, and then take the points. As Bama says, you're going to throw into triple coverage. Well, we're going to get that ball, not you guys. What an interception by Jay Johnson, and what a statement half from the #1 team in the nation as we see him in kneel down formation, just going to play it safe as we go into halftime. And they cannot be happier. Coach Willis has to be ecstatic as we reach the half, folks. Thursday night football. It's the PFL. It's your boy, John Smith. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Get hype. Let me hear those threes. And remember, make sure you are liking this video. You are subscribing to the YouTube. We are putting out content every day for your enjoyment. We have a podcast now that we're running on Tuesdays. If you want to be a part of that, let me hear it in the chat so I know who to look for to have some guests on. I'm so excited to have everybody here with me. I hope you're all enjoying the call and enjoying the game today, as I know I am. I'm loving this offense out of Bama. And, Ole Miss, I'm not that upset at their defensive performance. 17 points really isn't a lot for how good this Bama offense is. But this Ole Miss offense has no choice but to step it up in this second half if they want to have any shot at getting back into this game, as we see that highlight for this absolute beautiful play to the wide open man by Carson Young. Absolute dot. Absolute bomb. And, Bama's going to start with the ball in this second half. So if they come out and score a touchdown on this first drive, that will be a huge statement and try to dictate what we're going to see out of the rest of this game. As Andre Roche will take a knee, and we will see Carson Young come out here and try to get, 7 more as they highlight K5. Once again, as we keep talking about, both of the running backs in this game are extremely talented, and I think we might see a good chunk of K5 here on this drive as we see Carson call the audible, fakes the handoff, goes for the option, goes right back up the middle and gets himself 5 yards. They're going to take that play all day and twice on Sundays, as that's going to keep things moving for them and get them into continue to be ahead of the chains in positive range for their their sequence here. We see the pass has his man, absolute dot on the quick route, and there is the Carson to Carson connection. That is his first catch of the night. Something I am a little surprised by, as I feel like that connection has been elite for Bama all year long. But look how fast he got rid of that ball. Look how open Swift is on that route. Bama cannot be asking for much more out of this first drive on the half. And if you're Ole Miss, you're thinking we got to tighten up defensively. We are absolutely stacked in this secondary. We got to stay on our guys. As we've seen option once more, it doesn't look like he has a lot of room to run. Tries to spin off, but gets absolutely smothered by this Ole Miss defense. We saw Gucci once again up there helping stop the run. He gets up to run stop so fast. And you see the handoff to K5. Tries to fight forward, but gets brought down by Mr. Marquise Washington Jr., stopping the conversion on second down to get a new set of downs. And now Ole Miss has a chance to shut them once again and get a punt and get their offense back on the field, which would be massive for this first drive in the second half. Let's see how this goes. We see the fake, we see the rollout, has a man, misses his man completely in the flat, tries to squeeze it in, and Washington almost intercepts that. That would have been a nightmare for Carson after such a good first half. Might see a coffin punt. Yes, we do on the 5-yard line. Great job out of the punter from Bama getting it pinned down. And now Ole Miss has their work cut out for them, as they have to have essentially a 95-yard drive to get some points on the board. And once again, we're seeing the highlights of the running backs for the stats here. You know, the stat guys, they know we got to keep these running backs involved if we're going to want to see offensive production, especially considering that KC's a little shaken tonight, it seems. Finds his man in the flat. I believe that was rigged. Yes, it was. Just to, you know, get a little confidence, maybe seeing the completion. We don't see anything past the line of scrimmage, but maybe KC just seeing the ball go into his receiver's hands will build up his confidence a bit more. We see 2nd and 10 in the shotgun. Very quick pass. Very well done, and almost a breakout for Webb there as he tried to spin off his man. Gives KC a little bit more space. You can see he just passed the 1,000 yards mark for the season. I'm not sure if that's 1,000% accurate, just because sometimes our stat guys mess up on the finite details, but congratulations to KC if it is. The 1,000-yard mark is no joke. And we see the empty set on 3rd and 4. Lots of quick routes. Has a man. That's what we've been needing to see all night out of KC as he finds Riggs once again. These quick routes are how you're going to move the ball against this Alabama defense. They have some excellent secondary. You know, again, with Andre Roche, Wiggins, Johnson, who got the pick, as you saw, Anderson, who had some huge tackles, and Gardner, who had the pick 6. You have to rely on these quick routes if you want to keep the ball moving and get some points on the board. Stop thinking you need to go deep in order to catch up. Just do what you need to do to keep the ball moving. As we see Deuce fight for a few yards. That was a great tackle to bring him down, but manages to spin his way for a couple of extra yards instead of getting stopped in the backfield. We're going to see a fake here, roll out again. Looks for his man wide open, absolute blown coverage. That is Matt Webb fighting into the end zone. Touchdown, Ole Miss. And just like that, folks, we have ourselves a little bit of a game. We have some momentum coming out of Ole Miss. Wide open Matt Webb absolutely torches his man. Finds the open seam in the zone. Nobody around. The closest person was Wiggins, but he could not quite get there, as Webb is speedy for a tight end, man. He is built like a wide receiver, but blocks like a tight end. That's exactly what you want if you're Ole Miss, and they're going to go ahead and get their first points on the board with 7 minutes and 23 seconds left. And you know, chat, I want to know right now, so you can't back out, I'm keeping receipts. Who do you think is going to come out on top? Do you think Bama continues to hold this lead, or do you think there's going to be some crazy comeback out of Ole Miss, and we're going to see a victory for the home team? Let me know your thoughts, guys. Let's see what everybody thinks, and let's see what happens throughout the rest of this game. As we see Roche take a knee, and we see Carson getting out here again. I know Coach Willis is telling him, listen, we need to respond just like they did. We got to come out and do big things if we want to actually make sure we put this team away, because we don't want to let them get a 3 and out, get a stop, get a turnover, and then put some points on the board again. And if you're Ole Miss, you're thinking, give me the ball. Let me get that turnover as K5 gets the handoff. Absolutely smothered. Great defense again. We got Washington leading the charge on that tackle with support from his teammates. Nope. We did see a jump, excuse me, but he sends a man in motion, so wasn't able to hike it on the jump. We see another handoff to K5 and nowhere to go. Great run defense out of Ole Miss back to back. As we have the third down play, let's see what happens. Finds his man, delivers a dart to that same guy that had the huge touchdown earlier in this game, Allen. What a play out of Bama, as it really seemed like if they got stuffed there, momentum was going to shift, as we see Allen with 4 catches and 117 yards. It really felt like momentum was shifting in this game. Obviously, we see Gucci on the tackle, but that pass, you know, that was a big, big pass. It might not seem like it because there's 6 minutes left in the third quarter, but if you were watching this game, you felt that momentum shifting. And Bama's trying to keep it on their side. Finds his man there again. Oh, there it is, the Carson to Carson connection. We're seeing it for the second time. Great catch by Swift. And Bama's starting to get in their groove here in the second half like we were seeing in the first. Goodness, I thought that was gonna be close, but it really wasn't. It ended up just being a throwaway by Carson. We're seeing the second down once again. This formation I always feel like could be a run, but they tend to send that guy in motion to set up the back end screen. Yeah, it was a back end screen, but Gucci was not fooled. This man is absolutely elite at sniffing out those play designs and getting where he needs to go on coverage. Great defense out of Ole Miss there. And Bama's now in a situation where you're on a third and obvious passing down. However, we do see sometimes out of this offense with K5, they love to run the draw play. We're not going to see that here as they go in the empty set with 3 at the top and 2 on the bottom. But they're just going to trust that Carson can get it done for him. The pressure's coming, almost hit. Ooh, little weak on the toss. I felt like if he hits his man in stride there, maybe he can fight for the first. But Bama's going to have to settle for 3. And remember, in the PFL, kicks are not free. Let's see if he gets it done. He does, and it is a 13-point game, 20-7, as Fletcher does knock it in. We have seen some better kickers so far this week, and that's, you know, I know it's not on their team, but that's got to make Ole Miss at least smile a little bit, knowing like, hey, there's some kickers that actually make some kicks, so maybe our guy can do the same. As they get the ball back on offense, we're going to see KC try to lead this team out to another touchdown. And I got to say, you got to get that man more involved. Mr. Deuce Willis has to be more involved in the offense. You've seen what Matt Webb at tight end, apparently he can't be guarded. So get the run game moving and then feed into those play actions and get Matt the ball, I think is what this offense has to do. As we see the handoff, Deuce tries to fight, but absolutely stuffed there. Great tackle, great stop by that Alabama defense. As you see, KC take another snap here. Has his man, there he is, absolutely delivers and keeps it moving. I think that's Jamie Tyler. Yes, it is. Keeps the ball moving. KC's getting better and better as we see that stat for 205 passing yards there on the night. KC has been improving as the night's gone on. You know, part of me is thinking it's too little too late though. You have to be really careful, because this Bama offense is not letting up. They're definitely not laying down and just letting them do whatever they want. Let's see what happens here as we see KC under center. Handoff to Deuce. Massive hole for Deuce. I almost feel like he should have gone to the right and just juked his way out. We also have a flag. Is that block in the back? Yes, it is, unfortunately. So it is still a first down, but that's going to pull a lot of that run back. And again, I feel like that doesn't even happen if he runs to the outside instead of juking back up the middle. Deuce fights. I think they will spot that as a... Oh, nope. They're doing second and inches. Ball's right on the chain. They can really... The playbook's super open on downs like this, and he will be able to roll his way to a first here. And a new set of downs for Ole Miss as we're hitting 2.5 here remaining in the third. Getting right up to 2 minutes. Ole Miss really wants to end this drive here with points. Because, you know, if Bama keeps responding with points themselves, the game's going to get insurmountable very quickly. We see a missed pass from KC. You see his stats down there, 16 to 28, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Not the best night for KC, but, you know, Ole Miss isn't completely out of the game yet. Just has to see some good passing out of him for the rest of this one. As they get it to 3rd and 1, he delivers a laser there to Diaz to keep the ball into a manageable situation. Oh no, that wasn't Diaz, I'm so sorry. No, that was Riggs again. To keep it into a 3rd and very manageable, a 3rd and 1. Now let's see what Ole Miss cooks up to try to get this first down here. As Coach Jewell knows, this is a very important first. He sends his man in motion, fakes the handoffs, looking, has a guy wide open over there. What a juke! Oh my goodness, White Boy's got moves as he jukes his man and gets the ball almost to the 10-yard line. I believe that was George Everett, actually, the tight end. That is some moves for Webb's counterpart there, George Everett. That was a great play design as he got wide open and Ole Miss is able to keep the ball moving. You see Johnson on the tackle there. Johnson's been all over the field tonight, including that interception. So, and right there, he basically just saved a touchdown. So that's what they want out of those safeties. You see the handoff to Deuce. Tries to get to that gap, but the shoestring tackle stops him, and you can see the frustration on the Ole Miss sidelines as he had so much space to move, but was just not able to get through that gap. You see KC calling audible. Goes with the inside zone handoff. Deuce fighting, and getting a good amount of yards, and I think that's going to go ahead and end the 3rd quarter. I don't expect to see a snap here. So let me see those 4s in chat. Thursday night football, 20-7 right now, but Ole Miss is knocking on the door, trying to make it a 1-score game. Let me know your thoughts, PFL Nation. I'm so excited to be up here in the booth with you all today, and I really can't wait to see how this drive ends. This absolutely massive 3rd and 3 here. He goes for it all, has his man, he catches that. That is a touchdown. There he is, Jamie Tyler. It says here it's his first career touchdown reception. We don't know 100% if that's going to be accurate, but that is massive for Jamie. That is massive for Ole Miss, as they're going to be able to make it a 1-score game here. What a dot from KC, waking up on the first play of the game in this first play of the 4th quarter in this game. You know, sometimes you just get a little excited, you start twisting your words around. But my oh my, we got 20-14, 4th quarter, 1-possession game. Number 1 ranked Alabama against number 7 Ole Miss. And I'm not even mad at Bama. That was some good coverage. There were 3 white jerseys there. That was just an absolute perfect laser out of KC, and we honestly have not seen very many of those tonight. So I'm sure that felt good for him as he's walking over to the sidelines. But this Bama offense is what I've been talking about since the start, in the pregame, throughout this game tonight. I know how good they are, and this is their time to shine. You got CY9, you got K5, the Andre Roche brother, you got the Carson to Carson connection. I mean, you have a lot going on offense to go ahead and respond, get some points on the board, make it back to a 2-possession game, and try to close this one out. And let's see how Bama starts this drive. We see the fake handoff, pressure coming from the weak side, trying to find his man, fits it in there. What a catch from Andre Roche, as he just absolutely monsters his man. Ole Miss went for the interception, went for the big-time difference-making play here, and is not able to get it. What a snag. Andre says, "Get off me," as he makes that grab. I believe that was Bryson Armani on the coverage. But man, oh man, Andre said, "Not today, sir. No, no, no." We see the fake handoff. Looking, has his man cutting across. My goodness, this Bama offense is moving. They said, "Listen, that's great that you guys feel like you're back in the game, but we're here to tell you, you are not." As there's, just around 11 and a half minutes left in this one. We see Webb on the tackle there, by the way. But Bama's offense is just cruising to start this 4th quarter. Both offenses, obviously, have been delivering at the start of this 4th. as we're going to see. Send the man in motion, fake the touch pass, hand it off to K5, but nowhere really to run as he gets wrapped up right away without really anywhere to go. Great tackle by 22 there out of Ole Miss. Are we seeing another handoff? Yes, we are. Has space this time. I still don't think that's a first down, but that's going to be 3rd and 1. Yes, absolutely. Super close. Great tackle by Sistrunk, saving the first there, and Ole Miss has a chance to get the ball back. Super quick pass, though, on little short dart slant route. Carson's been able to feast on those tonight and absolutely delivers with Allen. Allen has been his go-to man on offense after that massive catch for the huge touchdown earlier in this game. We see a little highlight here. Again, great catch from Allen. And great job by Bama keeping the ball moving. See the handoff to K5, spinning off a man, trying to get there. Keeps the clock running. I mean, if you're Alabama, you're feeling pretty good as long as you're getting at least a few yards of play. Trying to, as long as that clock keeps, ticking down, giving Ole Miss less and less time to mount any sort of comeback if you do get points on the board here. They are in field goal range, so obviously it's going to be critical. They just do not turn the ball over as K5 gets a handoff again. Fights his way for the first down. He's got 14 rushes for 61 yards. We're in that time frame now where it's going to be the K5 show. And I expect him to continue to get more and more touches. We see the pass here. He does end up stepping out of bounds as Armani was getting set to absolutely lay that man out. I would have liked to see that hit, but he does go ahead and step out of bounds to stop that from happening. You see the roll off on the bootleg here. All day to throw. Pressure finally coming. Still hit as he throws. Looks like he had that man open for quite a while. And just, as that's Allen once again with his 6th catch, but took his time to get rid of it and ends up taking what I feel like was an unnecessary hit as Washington was right there to make the tackle on the receiver, and I feel like he was just waiting for that pass to come his way so he could make that hit. Massive 3rd and 2 here. Oh, that's a false start, folks. They're going back. We got a 3rd and 7. Makes it much more difficult. Your playbook gets a lot more limited after that. On 3rd and 2, we could have seen an inside zone. We could have seen a jet sweep and motion play. Now I almost feel like you're forced into a passing situation. So we're going to see how Bama responds here, what they cook up offensively. Ole Miss is bringing pressure. Has the guy, but immediately tackled by Armani. That's Bryson Armani making up for his earlier mossing by being right on top of his man, forcing the field goal. And again, like we've talked about, field goals are not a guarantee in the PFL. Now this should be a chip shot, but there, again, is no absolute guarantee to make it a 9-point game. So let's see if Alabama's kicker can go ahead and knock this through and make it 2 possessions. Again, that is Fletcher. He's been money for them. Let's see if he can make this easy chip shot or if home field is going to psych him out. It is up, and that is immediately good. It is now a 9-point game, 23-14. Honestly, with the way the offense was moving, I think there's plenty of time on the clock to still see a comeback. I'm not going to say this one is over, but if they don't score relatively quickly, if KC doesn't come out hot, I can see Bama shutting this one down by just getting the next offensive possession and running that clock as much as possible. So if you're Coach Jewell, you're saying, listen, we got to keep it moving. We got to keep it moving quick. Now, let's not overreact. We don't want to go Hail Mary, but maybe a lot of slants. Maybe some 10-yard posts, some little things just to get some good progression on the ball, not chew up too much clock, and try to get moving against this Bama defense. And if you're on Bama, you're just thinking, listen, we just need a stop, and odds are we block this game up. He goes for the screen pass early. That's going absolutely nowhere. What a tackle from Moore there. Reads it perfectly for a loss of 4 yards, and that is the opposite of what Ole Miss was looking for on their first play here on what is probably the most important drive of the night. Absolute smack hit, just drags that Deuce to the ground and says, get down. TKC taking another snap, goes, dumps off to Deuce again. Deuce is trying to protect the ball at this stage as he seemingly is jumping around trying to spin. And now we've got a 3rd and 13 with 5:20 left on the clock. Ole Miss has to get the ball moving. Let's see what they've got cooked up here. Casey goes to move around a little bit. Doesn't get a lot. Riggs on the catch. 5 minutes on the clock. But I almost feel like they have to go for it in a 2-possession game. Even though it's this far on their own side of the field, if you're punting this one away, you're basically saying, hey, we know we've lost, and we're just going to try to keep it from getting embarrassing, because you know Bama's just going to run it to K5, as we see Coach Willis on the iPad giving everybody advice. But you know he's just going to run it to K5 and tell them, hey, run this clock out. So let's see what Ole Miss decides to do here. A lot of clock running down, too. They did go for it, and oh my goodness, what a rip for the interception to put some salt in the wound. The man was falling back and grabs it. That is KC's hat trick, but not the hat trick you want to look for, as that is his 3rd interception. And what an absolute snag right there from Alabama, basically shutting this game down. Outside of an absolute miracle. We have seen great offensive production out of Bama, and their defense has really stepped up. Not just those guys we mentioned at the start of the broadcast, you know, Roche, Wiggins, Johnson, and Anderson, but their linebackers and their defensive line have made a huge difference as we see K5 run for what looks like about 12 yards. And I think Bama at this stage is going to be running that clock down as Coach Jules talking to his staff saying, where do you think we went wrong? What do you think we can do next week? As Bama looks like they're going to be holding on to that number 1 spot and moving to a 5-1 record. As I said on the pod on Tuesday, if you haven't listened to it, please do, in the booth, episode 1 with myself and Austin Briley. I think Bama, this isn't a fake number 1. This ain't a fluke. You know, I think this is the best team in the nation. And I think they're going to be a lock for the playoffs. I don't think they're going to be slipping. I could see them maybe moving to 2 or 3 if some games don't go their way, but I think this is the team you got to watch out for, you know, as we get past the halfway point here in the PFL and CS2. As we see the rollout, has his man, going to continue to get first downs, continue to chew that clock up, as right here we're going to get under 3 minutes to play. Bama's just out here making a statement as Grady has his 3rd catch of the night. Carson's going to take that, has a man wide open in the end zone. These guys are just, and of course it's that man Allen with his 2nd receiving touchdown. These wide receivers have just been getting whatever they want on Ole Miss's secondary tonight. Absolutely insane. I just cannot believe it. This is just a crazy game out of Alabama. I don't know if I should be upset at the Ole Miss secondary or just give Bama the praise that they deserve, as they are rubbing some serious salt in the wound on the 2-point conversion. They convert it as K5 gets in there from the empty backfield, making it a 17-point game. They said, just so you guys know, we really mean business. As you can see, Coach Jewell is pissed on the sideline. Absolutely unacceptable performance out of this Ole Miss defense, with Bama making an absolute statement tonight with their performance. We're going to see him kick it off at this stage. Ole Miss is really just playing for pride. You know, going to try to get some points on the board. KC's got some making up to do, as he's now, like I said, up to 3 interceptions. In his mind, all he's thinking is that he's got to try his best to make a little bit of a recovery here. But that could also cause him to force the ball a bit too much, and we might see a 4th interception. So you got to be a little careful if you're KC. And if you're Bama, you know, you're probably thinking we want to make even more of a statement. Let's get a 3 and out. Let's get our offense the ball back to try to get some even more points on the board. Oh my goodness, thrown into traffic, and that is almost, you know, potential interception situation. You see Carson absolutely hyped up on the sideline, as he should be. An elite game out of him. Definitely my player of the game. He has stepped up these past couple weeks. He led the game-winning drive last week, and it's absolutely been cooking tonight against Ole Miss. And this Ole Miss defense is no joke. I know this game is not a good judge of that, But their defense is absolutely phenomenal. So to see this performance out of Alabama really shows how good of a team they are offensively. And I just want to stress that for anyone new. You know, this is your first game tuning in. This score makes it seem like the Ole Miss defense absolutely is in shambles, but they really aren't. It's a really good defensive team. Alabama is just that strong and that good with the ball. As we see a holding penalty on their left tackle, going to bring that back even further. And we're going to see, can Ole Miss try to get this 4th down and long now instead of 4th and short conversion? No, they cannot, and we're going to see the turnover on downs. Bama has the ball basically for free. Let's see how rude Bama decides to be. Do they try to go for another touchdown? Or do they simply let this clock wind down and say GG to Ole Miss? If I'm Carson, I feel like he wants another one. I just feel it. He says, listen, I'm either getting K5 in the end zone or I'm getting another touchdown. Let's see what they do here as he takes the snap. Does go for the handoff to K5. Great coverage, but rips that first man off him and ends up going down from the supportive tackle. But man, Webb was ready to hit that man, and he just managed to spin off him just a little bit with a strong move. But it doesn't matter. Nowhere else to go as the second tackle rips him down. You see that? And then boom. You know, I think honestly K5 might have fallen down after the hit from Webb anyway. It looks like he was spinning towards the ground. So that was some great defense by Ole Miss, and that's what they do. You know, that's what they excel at. They really are a great defensive team. But Bama just proved the best defense is an even better offense, as they've been able to just move the ball at will. As we finally get under a minute to play here, Thursday Night Football. Can't wait for the rest of the games this week. Make sure you guys are tuning in. You know, we got back-to-back doubleheaders tomorrow and Saturday. They should all be fantastic games. I'm going to be a little bit biased, as you guys probably know. I am playing tomorrow on the first game tomorrow against Utah. Myself, John Smith, and USC are going up against Utah. That's going to be a major uphill battle. Please make sure to tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern. Following that game is going to be number 3 Georgia and number 2 Miami at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's going to be an absolutely amazing showing Friday night. And then Saturday, we're starting early with number 14 Cincinnati against number 4 Florida State. I do honestly expect to see more of the same for Cincinnati and Florida State to walk away with that one. And we are ending our week with number 6 Texas and number 8 Notre Dame. A couple of teams looking for big bounce-back victories. So make sure you're tuning in for the rest of this week of exciting PFL action. If you are brand new, once again, hit that link in the description. Follow us on social media. Get joined up in the league, and it could be me calling your name next time in the booth. Everybody have an absolutely wonderful night. Thank you so much for tuning in. Shout out to my producer, Zeke, for having my back throughout this call, making sure I'm sounding right, making sure the game's running smoothly, and I will see everybody next time. Have a good night, you guys.